Hello again, everyone. I'm here today with an unwrapping and swatching of some new full pan watercolors that I got from Jackson's Art Supply. These I actually purchased with the Schmincke Highly Granulating Special Edition tubes that I profiled on the channel recently. I will put a link to that video down below. But because swatching videos take a little bit more time, I didn't want to shortchange either one of the swatchings or the brands so that you could kind of see each one individually. So just really quickly, these are White Nights watercolors in full pans. They're really inexpensive for artist grade watercolor full pans. Supposedly their quality is good. This is the first time I will ever be painting, swatching anything with White Nights, so I'll be very interested to see. Supposedly they are similar in quality to Roman Schmal, which is what these two are on the end. Basically, I wanted to put all of these White Nights into a larger watercolor palette like this. This one's from Schmincke. You could use any kind of watercolor palette, but that's just what I happen to have empty. So, but given the number that I have, I didn't have enough to fill the whole palette. There was one full pan spot on both rows. So I filled it with a couple of Roman Schmal watercolors from other palettes that I had. I kind of not retooled, but I just took these out of other ones and replaced it with different colors. So this is Roman Schmal Payne's Gray, and this is Roman Schmal Transparent Red Oxide. I'm going to swatch these two colors as part of my little palette swatching. So I'm basically just swatching on a little swatch sheet that would be a reference for me today. At some point I will do full swatches of these, but I'm not going to do that on camera today because I just don't have the little swatch sheets ready, and that does take some time, and this is the time I had today. So I apologize if these swatches are not what you're looking for, but that's what I'm doing today. So let's see. So I will be swatching these along with everything else, but I won't be profiling them as much as each color here. So I'm going to go ahead and get started and unwrap. I'm going to start with the first one. I'm going to go this way, across, and down. And I didn't leave a template here, so I'm just going to kind of eyeball it as to where the colors go and leave spaces to label them. So I think what I'll do is I'll swatch, tell you what the color is, and then at the end I'm going to go back and label them all, and then I will tell you what the pigments are that are with those colors. So hopefully we can get a little bit of a rhythm going and this isn't too long of a video. So the first one is Naples Yellow Light. So I don't see Naples Yellow in a lot. Oh, these are really easy to unwrap. That's very good. I don't see Naples Yellow in a lot of watercolor brands. So I thought I would try Naples Yellow for this. These, as you can see, do not have a little wrapper or a little piece of wax paper like the Roman Schmal do. And I can tell you right now, just by comparing the two right here, Roman Schmal is much stickier in texture than the White Nights, and it seemed like there was almost like a little bit of a powder on the top of this White Nights paint. I'm guessing that this is not going to be as fantastic as the Roman Schmal colors are, although it seems to be wetting really easily. I'm going to just put that down in the pan. And then, okay, so let's leave a little room on the top for the color. Color name. And let's go down just a little bit more. Okay, so that is the Naples Yellow Light, which is actually very beautiful. And I'm going to keep the wrappers up here so that I can tell you what the color, pigment numbers are that are in there. I'm just going to stack them up here and then I'll go back. So I am really happy at how fast and easy they are to unwrap though, because otherwise this could take a little while. Okay, so I've just rinsed my brush. This is Naples Yellow, just regular old Naples Yellow. Okay. Trying to do similar sizes for each of the colors here. Rinsing my brush, dabbing it a little bit on a paper towel. The next color I have is Rose Quartz. So I did purchase individual pans, I can't remember if I mentioned that already, as opposed to a set, because I wanted to pick my colors and I wanted to have some different colors than were in a lot of their sets. So let's see. So this has a white in it, so it's going to be sort of semi-opaque, but it's really pretty. Okay. These are going down very nicely, so I'm pretty happy so far. All right, the next one is Quinacridone Rose, which is one of my favorites for a red, which is actually quite pink. I think I'm going through a pink phase. I'm not quite sure what that's all about, but the older I get, the more I like pink. I remember a friend of mine who's a little bit older saying that happened to her as well, so maybe it's just you want brighter colors as you get older. Need a little bit more water there. So all of these colors so far have been really nice and creamy, so that's nice. Okay. And I will show you a close-up of this swatch sheet towards the end as well, so that you can see each of these colors closer up. So the next one is Quinacridone Red, which should be a pretty bright red. Okay. That one wet really easily and nicely. And the first row is always the hardest to gauge for distance between different colors on the little swatch sheet. If I end up having a little bit of room here, I might cut it down just a little bit. But then the next row I can use this as a guide and do the same thing. So this one is Quinacridone Violet. I went heavy on the quinacridones, didn't I? Quinacridone pigments tend to be very vibrant. So that's kind of what I wanted here. And yeah, I'm definitely thinking they put some sort of powder over them. Probably just a very light dusting. Oh, that's beautiful. Quinacridone Violet. Very, very pretty. I don't think I have that color in any other brands. It's very pretty. Excuse my doorbell. All right, I'm not going to take this one out. This is the Roman Schmal Payne's Gray. I just had too many similar colors in my Roman Schmal palette that I had developed, so I decided to put one of those similar colors, the Payne's Gray, in here because I didn't have any darker colors in here other than the, well, burnt sienna is not really a darker color. All right, so let's go down to the next row. This is a green earth. And this should be a lighter color than a lot of greens. Not super pigmented, assuming it's with natural pigments. But let's see. Although it's very nice, actually. Okay. Green earth, I'll just pop that into the palette there. The next color is Cobalt Turquoise. And I think this is a Russian brand of watercolor. You can get a lot of palettes from them on Amazon for super cheap. The only reason why I went with Jackson's Art Supply is I wanted to be able to choose my colors, and they have individual pans for sale. Only full pans, I think. Actually, I don't know. They might have half pans. I'd have to go back and look. So this is Cerulean Blue. And I thought the Roman Schmal colors were easy to unwrap. These are even easier, so that makes this video a little easier. And cerulean is always going to be a little bit lighter and less pigmented than some other paints. So far I'm really digging this palette. It's kind of bright and cheery with a few muted colors in it. Okay, so this next one is Cobalt Blue. And I really encourage you to go ahead and make your own palettes with your own color choices. A lot of times pre-made sets are, well, first off, they're mostly made for beginners who just kind of want a ready-made set. But also they don't really take into account personal preferences because they're supposed to be, you know, sort of for the masses with most popular colors or something like that, or giving you your split primary system plus some extras. But I really encourage you to find out what you like and then build your own palettes with your own colors. Okay, this is Indigo. And I don't know if I've mentioned before, but Indigo is often a color that I will include in my palettes to darken other colors. Often I will have usually either a Payne's Gray or an Indigo, but this is a very blue Indigo, and that is a very gray Payne's Gray. So I think that they're not actually duplicative here. Okay. It's actually a beautiful Indigo. I really like that. Indigo is one of my favorites. Okay, and the last White Nights color is Burnt Sienna. Oops. Some of the wrappers are coming back. Okay, so this is Burnt Sienna, and that's wetting really nice for a Burnt Sienna. Okay. And then the last color I have in here is the Roman Schmal Transparent Red Oxide, which is similar to the Burnt Sienna, but is a little bit redder, as the name would imply. So this is more like an Indian red. Okay. So that is really pretty. I'm going to go back through. I'm going to actually take this swatch sheet. I'm going to move this up to the top corner so you can still see the paints, but I am going to label these, being careful not to smudge. I'm actually going to go backwards to forwards, and hopefully these will be somewhat dry when I get back there. So this is actually the Roman Schmal Transparent Red Oxide. Okay, and then this one is, those are the only ones I'm going to label. Everything else I am going to know that it's White Nights. I'm actually going to put that up here in the middle. White Nights. Okay. So this one is Burnt Sienna. And that is, let's see which, oh my goodness, I'm going to take off my glasses to do this because the writing is so tiny. So it should have, yeah, here we are, PBR 7. And it also has the information about the color as to how granulating it is and all of that. So I'm going to keep that off to the side so that I can use that when I do my little color sheets that are going to go into my book. So this one is Indigo. And this should be a mix of colors. Yes. So it is PBK7, PB15, and PV23. That's actually a very interesting combo for Indigo. Okay. The next one is Cobalt Blue. And this should be a single pigment, yes. PB28. Okay. Next we have the Cerulean Blue. And again, I would expect this to be a single pigment, PB35. Okay. The next one is Cobalt Turquoise. I'm just going to say Turk as an abbreviation, and that is PB28. Oh, single pigment. That's interesting. Did I say PB28? Yes, PB28. That's actually a really pretty cobalt turquoise. And this green earth is also really beautiful. Let's see. Okay, that's two different colors. So this is green earth. And the two colors in here are PBR7 and PG17. Interesting. All right. So then I'm going to label this one Roman Schmal. Oh, I just realized I was going to do that on top. Roman Schmal Payne's Gray. Let me actually get my little correction tape and put that over that right there. There you go. Like it never happened. So you can tell this happens to me a lot. Okay, this is Quinacridone Violet. So I'm just going to say Quinn Violet. And that is PV55. The next one is Quinacridone Red. Again, I'm going to abbreviate that. And that is PV19. Oh, that's very interesting. So that is actually a violet pigment rather than a red. Okay, so this is Quinn Rose. So I'm still trying to be really careful to not smudge paints that I have. Quinn Rose. And that should be PR122. It's very interesting that that's a violet and that's a red. I would have guessed the opposite. Okay, so this is Rose Quartz, and this is definitely going to be a number of pigments. Rose Quartz. This is PR170 and PW6. So yeah, it's just a red and a white. And then I have Naples Yellow. Naples Yellow, which is, oh boy, that's quite a few pigments. Let's see if I can fit them all. It's PY42, PY35, PO20. Oh my goodness. PW4. That is a lot of pigments. That's probably why I don't see Naples yellow very often. But the interesting thing is that this Naples yellow light is actually only one pigment. So this is Naples yellow light. And this, like I said, is just one pigment. It's PY216. So very interesting. Okay, so those are all labeled now, and now I'm going to give you a close-up here. So there you go. I think these are lovely. I don't think that they are actually that similar to the Roman Schmal. I'd heard very many people say that they were kind of similar in texture and similar in the way they operate. But just in my limited experience here, I would say that White Nights is actually its own thing. They do re-wet beautifully. They go down really nice. Let's see, we have a little bit of a back run here on the pink, but that did not seem to be a problem with any of the other colors. I find that Roman Schmal tends to back run a little bit. Back runs are basically, if you've added a little bit too much water, it will push back into the pigment and create this little cauliflower-like texture there. And Roman Schmal does tend to do that sometimes if you use too much water, which I sometimes do, not necessarily always on purpose. But I definitely think White Nights are worth having. I'm very happy to have this palette that I've made. It is a lot of really beautiful colors, and now I have my own curated color palette, which is super nice. Okay, well, I think that's going to be it for today. Thank you for watching. Feel free to like and or subscribe. There's going to be more swatching at some point, I know. All right, take care. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.